Hey babies, welcome back to another Affinity video, and this week we're playing the exact same list as I did last time because over the past month I top-8'd 2 Modern challenges with this list. So needless to say, I've been pretty satisfied with it overall. I've been very impressed with Soulless Jailer. It's been really good against like the Atraxa Reanimator decks and the Cascade decks, of course. And also having a main deck Haywire Mite has been really good for me. And I do plan on doing an updated sideboard guide for this list, but right now the sideboarding is kind of wishy-washy still, since I'm still figuring out some of the minutia, like if I bring in extra Haywire Mites against Leyline Binding decks, stuff like that, and what I take out for them. And without further ado, let's get to the games. All right, round one, our opponent's on the play. This hand is shy on lands, so let's mulligan. Okay, now we have Tanglepool Bridge, Urza Saga, Patcheon Curve, which is nice. Do I keep the Haywire Mite or do I keep the Misfault Bridge? I think I keep the Misfault Bridge. Then we can, well, yeah, let's do it like that. Well, do I want to keep it so I can trigger Patchy again and then use Sojourner's Companion on turn 2 instead of playing Patchwork on turn 2? I am on the draw too, so it's likely that I draw another land. Let's get rid of Misfault Bridge. This way on turn 2 I also have the option of just miting something if our opponent is playing an Urza Saga deck or something like that. In case it's important. It might make us a little bit better against like an Amulet matchup or something. Silent Clearing. Thoughtseize. Okay. I'm not sure what our opponent's playing. They could be playing the new Scammertime deck that some people are messing around with. We draw Frogmite, let's just go Tanglepool Bridge and pass. Could also be like a Pox deck maybe. Windswept Heath, okay. Gets a Plains and Vault Scourge. Okay, it does look like it's the Scammertime deck. This deck is cool. I haven't actually played against it yet, so we'll see what happens. But it's definitely a sweet deck. We drew a land, so we're going to play Patchy here. I should have figured that it was Scammertime since they Thoughtseized away the Haywire Mite. Alright, how fast of a clock do they have is the real question now. Okay, they can hit us for 11 and gain 11 with this Vault Scourge. We'll be able to chump block it the next turn. Unfortunately, Haywire Mite's gone, so that's not an option anymore. Okay, opponent gains a bunch. We draw Thoughtcast. Let's play Urza Saga. Pass the turn. Patchwork Automaton is going to be blocking, and we're gonna hope and pray that they don't have a way to give trample, because otherwise I will just be dead. Opponent plays a second Sigarda's Aid. Alright, that's probably good for us. Attacks. If they have a second Colossus Hammer, we might be dead here. So I gotta block both of them. I assume they have a second Colossus Hammer, otherwise they wouldn't have attacked with that Stoneforge Mystic. Yup, that's annoying. Yeah, I think we're dead. We can only remove one of these with an Ether Spell Bomb. They only have one card left in hand, though. So I guess we'll see. Shadow Spear. Okay. I have to float the mana because I have to use Ether Spell Bomb. Get Ether Spell Bomb. Okay. I could cycle Sojourner's Companion, get Darksteel Citadel, play Darksteel Citadel, play Shadow Spear, play Frogmite for free. I think that makes sense. That way I can chump block with the Frogmite and bounce the Vault Scourge. I wonder what their last card in hand is. If they brick for a couple turns, we might actually be in business. So I'm gonna Ether Spellbomb this, Frogmite here. My turn, I can make a construct. That gives me 5 artifacts. Search for Springleaf Drum, that gives me 6. Play Thought Monitor, chump block with the Thought Monitor. Block here. Okay. And of course we're not bouncing the Stoneforge Mystic because I don't want to just give them a tutor again, because they could either find a Colossus Hammer and put it on again, or they could find Culture Complete with their own Shadow Spear, and that would also be bad. Opponent plays Vault Scourge. Opponent plays Marsh Flats. I assume the last card in their hand is another land at this point. It could be a Grief, I guess. We draw Welding Jar. 4, 5, 6. Play Thought Monitor. What do we draw? Play Frogmite. That's a good draw, because that means now I can Stonewall the Vault Scourge and block Stoneforge with Frogmite. And I'm going to use Welding Jar to regenerate Frogmite because they don't have any destroy effects that I know of, so I might as well just use it to get another chump blocker. They pop a Silent Clearing, 2 cards in our opponent's hand, 3 cards once they draw for turn. And we're still just hoping that they don't have any ways to give trample. Because if they do that before I gain life, we die. And I have to get this construct token larger than an 11-12. Stoneforge Mystic, shit. That's gonna be trample, I assume. Yep, Shadow Spear. And we're dead. Alright, well that was closer than it looked like it was going to be. But it still didn't work out for us. Let's bring in a couple Haywire Mites, Pithing Needle. I think I just sideboard exactly the same as I normally do against Hammer. But the relics are useless, Welding Jar is relatively useless. Gingerbrute can go. Patchies aren't great since they're not doing spot removal, and we can cut a Thoughtseize to make room for the Metallic Rebukes. Run it like that. There might be an argument for actually keeping in a relic or bringing in Grafdigger's Cage if they're going to be doing the grief scam thing. But I'm not sure how consistently their deck can do that. It kind of seems like a joke deck to me. Like maybe I don't bring in the Metallic Rebukes here since they have Thoughtseize effects. That could actually kind of make sense. In that scenario, I would maybe bring in Cage, keep the Thoughtcast, keep the 2 Patchies. I don't really like Patchy in this matchup either. Soulless Jailer seems like overkill. I'm just going to run it with the normal Hammertime sideboard for now. I don't want to screw things up too much. If I have the option at least. Alright, we will be taking the play for game 2. We have blue mana, Metallic Rebuke for interaction, a couple of Memnites and a Cranial Plating. Not the most exciting hand, but it's not bad either. I do like having Metallic Rebuke on the play here. Let's keep it. I can even play tapped land and then a second tapped land in both the Memnites to hold up Metallic Rebuke on turn 2. That does seem pretty good, so long as we don't get hit with the turn 1 grief shenanigans. Opponent keeps 7. Don't like that, but we'll see what happens. Opponent plays Plains. Springleaf Drum. Okay. And nothing else. We drew Tanglepool Bridge, so I'm going to play that. I was just thinking, they actually have a pretty cool interaction in their deck where they can play Springleaf Drum on turn 1, evoke Grief, and then use the Springleaf Drum with Grief to get black mana. That's pretty cool. Like if they have that specific scenario where they have a Plains or an Urza Saga but not the black mana yet. What you got, opponent? If they play almost anything, I will Metallic Rebuke it. Unless it's like very inconsequential for some reason. Stoneforge Mystic. Fuck you. Not happening. Not right now, at least. And we can crack in at them with Cranial Plating next turn. So that's nice. It's not a very fast clock yet, but it's something. Another Memnite. I kind of wish I played the second Mistfall Bridge so I could instant speed Cranial Plating. I went with Tanglepool Bridge for possible Mite draws, but we haven't drawn one yet. Alright, hit our opponent for 9, puts them to 9. Okie dokie. Now if they just don't have any removals or blockers, that would be cool. They could just die here. Opponent plays Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, like if I could instant speed Cranial Plating here, they could just be dead. Which is a little unfortunate for us that we don't have that up. I'll settle for trading a Memnite for a Stoneforge Mystic if that's what happens, though. It is also possible that they have removal for Cranial Plating. They evoke Grief. They're not going to get anything with it. Okie dokie. Grief goes away. They didn't have a scam for Grief, it looks like. If I draw another Cranial Plating, I win. If I draw a way to make black mana, like a Springleaf Drum, I think I'll win. As long as they don't have removal for plating. What you got, opponent? Oh, they're tapping. Looks like they were thinking of playing a Vault Scourge there. Yeah. Opponent goes to 7, plays Vault Scourge. Okay. They have a Colossus Hammer and 2 unknowns in their hand. We're going to play Mistfall Bridge. We are going to attack. Attack like so. Memnite trades for Vault Scourge. Put plating on the unequipped Memnite, the untapped Memnite rather. Play Frogmite, pass. Alright. Hopefully next turn they're dead because they didn't have removal for Cranial Plating last turn. I think they would have used it. Pure Steel Paladin, okay. And now I have 3 attackers and a Cranial Plating that I can swap. And any of them hitting is lethal. So they should just be dead. But we'll see. They're acting like they might have interaction, but I think I just have to go for it at this point. Well, they're tapping their mana now. Okay. You got anything, opponent? Marsh Flats. Okay, 2 cards in hand. Cracks it down to 6. And another Colossus Hammer. Alright, they should just be dead now. Unless they play 2 0-drop creatures, which I'm not sure if their deck plays. Okay. Very cool. I'll show them my stuff, since they showed me theirs. Alright, attack. Nope. Block the wrong Memnite. Alright, cool. Yeah, I think I'm just going to run it back. That Metallic Rebuke felt pretty good. And although counters aren't as good against Thoughtseizes and Griefs, still seems fine. Alright, we have Haywire Mite. We don't have green mana yet. We have Urza's Saga that could find us green mana potentially. This is a little light on interaction, but this hand seems fine, and our opponent's mulliganing to 6, so let's keep. Opponent plays Plains and Shadow Spear. Okay. That's a little spooky. Let's just play Bridge Pass. I wish it was a Tanglepool Bridge. I would gobble up that Shadow Spear with Haywire Mite without giving it a second thought. Stoneforge Mystic, okay. 3 cards in our opponent's hand. I assume this is a Colossus Hammer that they're getting. They get Cauldron Complete. Okay, so they probably don't have a way to equip things for free, is what that means. Let's play Saga. Let's go ahead and get Haywire Mite into play because I think it's safer not in our hand. I think they have more hand interaction than removal. And let's just go ahead and make it to where if they play a Grief or a Thoughtseize, they're not getting anything. Because who would play one of those cards anyway? Those cards are bad. Haywire Mite can potentially answer the Cauldron Complete, and Cauldron by itself is not that fast of a clock. It gets damage in, and it becomes very scary if they somehow put a Colossus Hammer on it, but by itself it's not that bad. I assume they're just gonna... They're not even putting it in to attack this turn, okay. They might just do it instant speed. And they don't play a land, interesting, so 4 unknowns in their hand, the other card is Cauldron Complete. I draw an Urza's Saga. Do I play out the Urza's Saga? I don't think I do. I think I want the Construct. We can't attack in, otherwise they will just get a free block, and I will be sad. Getting my own Shadow Spear would be really good. Getting Pithing Needle might be a good pick, because I could Pithing Needle their Shadow Spear. Unless I draw a Springleaf Drum, I'm going to be getting a Springleaf Drum with this Urza's Saga Tutor, though, for Haywire Mite. And the second one's probably also getting a Haywire Mite, just being realistic. I'm concerned that they might have a way to protect their stuff. I don't know if this deck runs Blacksmith skill or not. I feel like it doesn't, because I think the Grief package is probably enough that it's difficult to run anything extra in the deck. Because while Scammertime is very cool, it's kind of doing the Schizo deck thing where you have 2 different engines that you're trying to fit into your deck, and you don't really have room for any of the embellishments, I don't think. Like, you have to have enough black cards in your deck to be able to evoke Grief normally, so that's why you have to play Vault Scourges and stuff like that, and Malakir Rebirths in your lands. And then you have to have the Stoneforge Mystics and the free equips and the equipments for Hammer Time. And then after that, you don't have much room for extra stuff. And the extra stuff is really what makes decks fun, I think. I think that's why I like Urza's Saga decks so much, is you get to play so many weird one-ofs and have them actually be decent. Like, I don't think Haywire Mite would ever see main deck play if Urza's Saga wasn't a card. It would definitely still be a good sideboard card, though. Opponent marches our Haywire Mite. What an asshole. Alright. That definitely shifts my plan. Gonna take 5 here. I might just ignore the construct on this one and get Ether Spellbomb. We draw Shadow Spear. Interesting. So that means I can go float a mana, play Urza's Saga. I have 4 mana. I can play and equip Shadow Spear, and I can also bounce their Germ Token. That actually seems really good. So I think that's the plan. We're just going to turn around and clock them for a bunch. I'm not going to pop the Aether Spellbomb yet, of course. Equip to you. Attack for 14, gaining 10 up to 25. I assume they're not going to block anything. And I'm going to go ahead and Aether Spellbomb now, to make sure that they don't have Blacksmith skill or anything like that. Opponent's at 3. I think I probably have this one, unless there's a weird sideboard card that I'm not expecting. They could have Solitude, I guess. I think I've seen Scammertime running a Solitude. If they Solitude Malakir Rebirth, they're in it for at least another turn, but then I get to make another construct and attack in with a Shadow Spear again. Opponent plays a Sigarda's Aid. Okay. Pierce still would have been a lot scarier. So even if they have a Colossus Hammer and they block this construct, this amount of damage kills them, so I think I just attack with everything but the Ornithopter and hope for the best. Yeah. They do have a Colossus Hammer. They go down to 2 because of the silent clearing. And I assume they're dead because I don't think it's likely that they have anything to save them now. They could Solitude away a thing. It doesn't matter. Hooray! All right. I'll see you in the next one. All right, round 2. We are on the draw. This hand plays an early Thoughtcast and then has a 2/2, so let's mulligan. All right, this is much more reasonable. Let's keep, and I think I get rid of a Memnite here to keep my options open with Ornithopter and also make my board a little bit better against like a Fury. And let's see what our opponent does to us. Sacred Foundry to 18. Okay. Is it a burn deck? Rift Bolt looks like a burn deck. All right. So I want to go ahead and play out the Welding Jar in case they play Eidolon, because I don't want to just straight up die to Eidolon. But we'll see. Opponent plays a Mountain. No Eidolon, please. No Eidolon, please. Okay, not an Eidolon this turn. Apparently they're not playing any creatures either, which is interesting. Definitely a weak burn hand if they just don't have any creatures at all. Let's play Saga so we get to tutor a little bit earlier. We might not be making a construct next turn, but that's fine. Let's play Patchy, and let's go ahead and play out the 0 drops to play around future Eidolons if they top deck it. There's sort of an argument for keeping them in hand, I think, in case they have Searing Blaze, because then they can't target the Patchwork Automaton with Searing Blaze. But I think this is fine. Opponent has 4 cards in hand, 2 lands. Let's see if they find lethal in time before we start getting lifelink. Opponent suspends another Rift Bolt, plays the latest Monastery Swiftspear I think I've ever seen. Okay. We draw Darksteel Citadel. Huh. So I can make a construct this turn if I want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I might as well, right? That way I can attack with Patchy, get our opponent to take some damage. Opponent has a Rift Bolt, we have blockers. They shouldn't be able to kill us with 3 cards, since they don't have an extra mana here. We're at 8, they have 3 cards in hand. They would need 3 mana and 3 cards in hand to kill us at 8, I think. They play Sunbaked Canyon, 2 cards in our opponent's hand. They could deal 7 to us with a Bolt and a Boros Charm, but I think we're in the clear. Let's make a construct, let's do the Urza's Saga thing. They definitely can't kill this construct this turn. Get Shadow Spear. Play Thought Monitor. Grows Patchy. Watch them have like main deck Deflecting Palm or something. Play Sojourner's Companion. Equip Shadow Spear. Go to combat. Opponent chump blocks. Patchwork Automaton to stay alive. Makes sense. We gain 12. Yeah, now they don't have a chance. Alright, our opponent has 2 cards in hand. They have to have cards that I don't think Burn has access to in any format to win. Cool. Alright, so we're just going to bring in some Metallic Rebukes. We're going to cut Nettle Cysts and both the relics, and I think there's an argument for cutting Gingerbrute for Haywire Mite just because it's a dork that gains you life when it dies. So I think I'm going to do that. The reason I bring in the Metallic Rebukes in this matchup is because of the aforementioned Deflecting Palm. That's the same reason I take out Nettle Cyst too, because Nettle Cyst is pretty clumsy against Deflecting Palms, where at least Cranial Plating you have a chance that you might be able to like re-equip it or something like that. And Palms can absolutely steal a game from you. Like, you need to be playing around that pretty much anytime they have 2 mana up, if you have like a construct or anything like that that you could attack in with. Or at least it's something you should consider. I like to prioritize fetching out Aether Spellbomb too because of that, because then I can, even though it costs me a lot of stuff, if I get rid of my own construct with it and get rid of an Aether Spellbomb, it's worth actually surviving. Because sometimes they can deal like 10 damage to you off of one of those. Alright, this is a pretty slow hand. We need to draw land for it, so let's mulligan. This is reasonable. Let's get rid of Mistfall Bridge. We're basically just relying on Urza's Saga and our opponent keeping a bad hand here. Looks like they kept a bad hand again. Works for me. Play Bridge, go. They can actually play Eidolon and we don't care at all. This game. Kind of funny. We're at 17. Okie dokie. What you got, opponent? Sacred Foundry. I hope they don't have a Wear Tear. That would be annoying. They play Eidolon. I don't care. That's just going to deal damage to them. We found a Haywire Mite. That's funny. I think I actually do play out the Haywire Mite just because if they kill it, I gain the life back, and then it doesn't really matter. And if they don't, I have an extra artifact count. Opponent plays Inspiring Vantage. They have 4 cards in hand. Opponent plays Searing Blaze. Alright. Works for me. It was worth trying to get the Frog Mites out next turn. Opponent hits us for 2. We go to 12. They have 3 cards in hand. We draw another Thought Monitor. And let's pass. They almost certainly have a Bolt to remove this first construct. We're at 10. Opponent plays a land. Okay. Let's make a construct. They have 3 cards in hand. We draw Thoughtcast. I think I would rather deploy my hand than make another construct here. They have 3 cards in hand. What do I think they have? Do I want to go Springleaf Drum so I can play double Monitor? Or do I just want to go for gaining life? I feel like they're playing around the Shadow Spear already. Let's go Springleaf Drum. Opponent cracks Sunbaked Canyon. Okay. I think they have Deflecting Palm. I'm hoping that I draw Metallic Rebuke here. I do not. Let's go wide. We draw Urza's Saga. Springleaf Drum. We take 2. Let's Thoughtcast again. Cranial Plating. Do I think they have lethal? I think it's a pretty good chance. Me hitting them with this construct doesn't make a difference, though, if they do have lethal. So let's just go Urza's Saga, Sojourner's Companion, and pass. I was really hoping to draw a Metallic Rebuke there off of all those draw 2s, but it didn't pay out for us. So let's just pass. There's a good chance that we're dead here to just burn. Because they're going to have 4 cards to work with. We're going to be at 4 life. Does not seem likely that we can survive this. 3 cards in hand. They play a land. They didn't go straight for the kill, even though we only have colorless mana, which gives me a little bit of hope. Roiling Vortex. Okay. Now we're dead if they have a Bolt, because that deals 1 damage to us in our upkeep. Looks like they might have it. Yeah, they do. Okay. Good enough. Good enough, good enough. Maybe I should have attacked in, but if they had the Deflecting Palm, I would have just died. Let's run it back. This seems pretty good. Let's keep. I think if I didn't play that Springleaf Drum, that last Springleaf Drum, I might have been able to actually win that game. But oh well. We have to make sure to deploy the 0 drops before Roiling Vortex comes down, but that shouldn't be an issue. Let's just pass. I assume they're just going to lead on our damn Rift Bolt again because they haven't kept any hands with 1-drop creatures yet, but we'll see. They have a Goblin Guide. Oh my god. Alright, Goblin Guide triggers. We have an Ether Spellbomb on top. Okay. I will not be playing that next turn. I love that we already have a Metallic Rebuke. That means I can play aggressively and not worry about Deflecting Palm. And we can just try to beat our opponent to death before they do anything to actually get our life total down significantly. I might actually just make... Yeah, I'm probably just going to make a mana and get Shadow Spear instead of making 2 constructs. So long as they don't, like, path the first one, that is, I guess. What you got, opponent? Looks like a 2-drop. Searing Blaze, okay. Attack in. Do it. They were too smart to attack in. Okay. Fine by me. We draw Cranial Plating. It's not quite lethal. We're getting close, though. I do still think that I want to hold up Metallic Rebuke here. Get Shadow Spear. Play Urza's Saga. Okay. Equip. Play Spellbomb. We're still holding up Rebuke. Attack for 7. Gaining 7. Hooray. And pass. Alright, I think that pretty much wraps up this match for us, most likely. Let's see what our opponent has. But having the backup Urza Saga should definitely do it, and yep, we got it. Alright, see you in match 3. Alright, round 3, we lost the die roll again, and we're definitely mulliganing this since we don't have any lands. I'd be getting rid of a Cranial Plating. This hand seems okay. I kind of wish that this was a tap land instead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might be able to play Thought Monitor on turn 3 depending on what I draw. Let's keep this. Get rid of a plating, and hope for the best. Not a super strong hand. Opponent plays Swamp Go. Okay. We draw Springleaf Drum. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. I think they probably have a Fatal Push in their hand, or some kind of destruction, so I don't want to run out Ornithopter and enable that on turn 1. Looks like we're probably playing against a mono black deck. I assume it's the Coffers deck. We draw Urza's Saga. Things are shaping up well. Play Cranial Plating. And let's go ahead and pass. I want to wait on the Ornithopter until I'm playing Thought Monitor. Opponent doesn't do anything. Opponent plays Urborg. I think that confirms that this is Coffers. Technically, it could be like 8-rack or something, but they wouldn't have not played anything for the first 2 turns. Opponent doesn't do anything yet again. Alright, so let's see. I play an island. I have 3 artifacts. 4, 5. I think I want to go ahead and play Aether Spellbomb out, so I'm just going to go Memnite Aether Spellbomb. And that way I have 2 creatures that could attack next turn. So I could put Cranial Plating on Memnite and also attack with the Construct. Because I want to play around Damnation here. Them playing Urborg for us is actually really nice because that makes it a lot easier for us to use Cranial Plating's instant speed ability. Bloodchief's Thirst, that's fine. I assume they have instant speed removal for the Construct. But we'll see. Let's make another Construct. It's not the Edict. We drew another Urza's Saga, that's nice. What do I want here? I could take Relic to just have another draw. I could take Welding Jar, I think that's reasonable. I don't think Springleaf Drum really matters. The second Urza's Saga, if I wind up ultimating it, is probably going to get Gingerbrute, and then is probably going to get Gingerbrute so we can hit our opponent with Cranial Plating. Let's just get Welding Jar here, I think. Play Saga. Equip. Fatal pushes. Okay. Thought Monitor. Draw a couple cards, and do I want to run out the Ornithopter? I'll wait. Opponent plays another Bloodchief's Thirst. I'm going to Welding Jar this time. Reason I didn't do it last time is because they could have played Damnation on their turn to get rid of all our stuff, and it's usually better to Welding Jar things that they play at sorcery speed like that. Okay, let's play Ornithopter. Let's put Plating on Thought Monitor, so they're going to take at least some damage here unless they have 2 removal spells. And attack. They did not have removal. Okay. Opponent's at 4, they're probably just dead now. Opponent plays a Blast Zone. That's fine. Opponent plays Damnation. We saw that one coming. Now they have 1 mana, and I'm going to have 2 lethal threats because I can get the Gingerbrute. And they're not going to have removal for that. So let's see. I get Gingerbrute. I can use Ornithopter to make the other mana, so I can make a Construct here, just in case it's relevant. Gingerbrute. Actually, don't even need to use the Ornithopter for the mana, since I can just use the Construct for the mana. So I'm not going to show it to them. Well, they could have the thing that gains them life. I guess we'll see. I think they're playing it here. The Black March. Yeah. That puts them to 6. They're still dead. That's fine. Hooray! Alright. I feel like I play against this deck on camera all the time. Like, I don't actually see it that often when I'm just grinding leagues on my own, but I think it's shown up a bunch of times. Other than that, let's see. So both of you go away. Shadow Spear goes away. I don't actually know if I want to get rid of Nettle Cyst. It seems kind of fine. Gingerbrute definitely stays. I think I can cut Haywire Mite and feel fine about it. I didn't see any artifacts from them. They might be running the build of the deck that doesn't play Expedition Map and just plays Profane Tutors. I don't really think there's anything else I want to get rid of, though. And I definitely want the Pithing Needle and Metallic Rebukes, so let's run it like that. Alright, this hand seems fine. It's pretty similar to our last one, so let's keep. I'd like to find an Urza's Saga, but they're probably going to have more interaction for that this time around, since Black does actually have some enchantment removal these days. Opponent plays Relic of Progenitus. Alright. We draw Memnite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't quite play Thought Monitor on turn 1, but I can go Cranial Plating Thought Monitor on turn 2. They didn't Thoughtseize on turn 1, which makes me think I might get the opportunity to do it. Let's see what our opponent does on turn 2. They play Demolition Field. That kind of sucks since we drew our island. They play Night's Whisper. They're not going to be able to remove everything because they're not going to have 4 mana on turn 3. We draw another Springleaf Drum. Alright, let's go for it. Springleaf Drum, Memnite, Frogmite, Memnite. I'm going to play Thought Monitor before Cranial Plating because I might draw an Urza's Saga or some other land that I want to play more than the island. What do we get? Metallic Rebuke. Huh. I think I still play out the Cranial Plating rather than going for Metallic Rebuke here. But let's play Darksteel Citadel. Plating. Pass. Opponent's at 18. We have 6 damage worth of creatures and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with Cranial Plating. So we don't have quite lethal next turn, but we're dangerously close to it. And if I hold back a creature, I can keep up Metallic Rebuke too. They kill a Memnite. I love it when people use actual spells to get rid of Memnites and Ornithopters. It's very funny to me. Opponent passes. Let's just play the island. Let's equip up Monitor. If they play Damnation, I can Metallic Rebuke it. Attack, attack, attack. Hopefully they just don't have anything here. They have a Fatal Push, that's fine, that doesn't matter. That doesn't change the clock at all. So we just have to Metallic Rebuke this Damnation or whatever sorcery play that they have to get rid of the Thought Monitor. And then we win. What's super nice for us in this matchup is that our threats with higher than 4 CMC are very hard for our opponent to kill. Fuck you. No KGCs. They could have used Karn plus to make Cranial Plating a creature and then we wouldn't have lethal there. And we got it. Alright, round 4 and we finally won a die roll, so I will be taking the play. And I think we have to mulligan this again. We are short of a land. If one of these 1-drop artifacts was an untapped land, this would be a pretty good hand, but let's get rid of it. Alright, this seems fine. Get rid of a Treasure Vault. We have Thoughtcast to refuel, Urza's Saga, the lands to enable it, Cranial Plating, and a Ginger Brute as a surprise off of Cranial Plating, perhaps. Let's keep, get rid of Treasure Vault. Tanglepool Bridge, go. See what our opponent's doing. Opponent plays Urza's Saga, okay. They play Urza's Saga, go. Hopefully that doesn't mean Amulet, but it might. Let's play our own Saga, play Plating, and pass. Opponent ticks up, plays Amulet. Oh boy, alright. So they're gonna have double Amulet. They play Arboreal Grazer, get some more mana. I assume this is a Dryad coming down. Yep. So if you're new to playing Affinity, some background. Amulet is the nightmare matchup. It is very hard to win because Amulet's a very fast deck and we just do not have the correct tools to interact with them. And on top of that, they have very good sideboard cards against us. So I basically consider it a miracle if I win a game against Amulet. Either that or my opponent misplayed significantly. Opponent has 3 Amulets of Vigor. Okie dokie. Let's yield to all these. Yield. I assume I'm dead here, but I can make a construct. It's a block, perhaps. Damn, that is a lot of mana, though. Explore. Maybe they just don't have it. Maybe they just don't have the prime time yet. They just want to have, what is it, going to be like 16 mana? You know, I've been a combo player in the past, so I don't really have much room to complain, but watching Amulet combo off, I feel like my soul's escaping my body. Especially just because of how often it feels like I lose on, like, turn 2, turn 3 against them. Okay, they have prime time, I'm gonna skip. Alright. I have a lot of hate for Amulet, and it's unlikely that it's actually gonna help that significantly, but we're gonna try. You. Bring in Needle. Anything to help us at all. Let's just cut some Thoughtcasts now. Alright, wish me luck. Gotta mulligan this, no lands. This is a reasonable hand, so I'm gonna keep it. Let's get rid of... I think I actually get rid of the Memnite here, because I need the Thought Monitor to refuel since I don't have much of a clock here. And I want to have Springleaf Drum so I can enable Haywire Mite. And I want to have as much disruption as possible, so I need Damping Sphere and Haywire Mite. So let's get rid of the 0-drop. Misfault Bridge, go. I'm going to place Forest, Amulet of Vigor, okay. That means I'm going to be playing Haywire Mite this turn. Fuck you, go away. Alright, one less Amulet. I'm going to play Simic Growth Chamber. They didn't pause for Force of Vigor last turn, so that gives me hope that this Damping Sphere might be able to stick around. Them having a Forest already does mean that they can Besage you it. Alright, we draw Thought Monitor. Can't quite play those yet, so let's play Springleaf Drum, go. We might be able to see the cool Damping Sphere Affinity interaction this game. Opponent plays Azusa. Okay. Plays Gruul Turf, somewhat inexplicably. Plays Selesnya Sanctuary. Okay. They have a lot of wastes. We draw Urza's Saga. Let's play Monitor. Draw 2 cards. We found another Damping Sphere. Interesting. Let's play Saga. Because of how much trouble I would be in if they have removal, I kind of wish I could play this Damping Sphere, but I don't have the mana for it right now since it costs 3. So I guess I just have to keep playing Thought Monitors. This costs 2. I could play Ornithopter for 1. Let's just go ahead and get the Ornithopter in play. Play another Thought Monitor. Play Frogmite. Alright. We don't have a Cranial Plating yet, but we do have a way to make a construct next turn, perhaps. So long as our opponent doesn't go like Besage You Kill Me. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay, so they have Valakut Dryad, is what they're doing this game. That sucks for us. You see, like, the issue is even when we have basically the perfect hate with a Damping Sphere that they haven't removed and a Haywire Mite to get rid of their main combo card, they can still just kill us. So it's just very frustrating to play against this deck with Affinity. It looks like they're not playing anything else because of Damping Sphere here. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. We could still get there, possibly. We draw Cranial Plating. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's play Monitor. See what we draw. We draw Urza's Saga, Ornithopter. Do I play out the other Urza's Saga, or do I play Mistfault Bridge? Playing out Urza's Saga means I also get to play Ornithopter. Mistfault Bridge gives me more untapped mana next turn. Let's do that. And pass. We do still have hope, at least, since our opponent can sort of slowly Valakut our stuff away, but not quite everything at this point. They can make a construct to block with. They play another Dryad. I kind of wish I kept the Shadow Spear in, so I could trample. I think Haywire Mite is the pick with this Urza's Saga. So I can get rid of their Urza's Saga and stop them from finding an Amulet, or whatever other shenanigans they would be finding. Make another construct, get Haywire Mite, play Urza's Saga, play Cranial Plating, equip Plating to Ornithopter, like so, go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. They play a Besage You. That's annoying. Although we can just play another Damping Sphere now is what that means. So that's kind of cool. Opponent has 1 card in hand. If we play Damping Sphere out, it means that we're not Haywire Miting here. They don't have any cards in hand anymore, though. So that is something. I think it's better to use Haywire Mite here, because otherwise the Mite might die to a Valakut trigger, and I just want to prevent them from tutoring at all if I can help it. So let's do that. Get rid of you. I can play out both the Ornithopters as well, and I can equip Cranial Plating to one of them. And we just have to fade a draw, basically. Hope that we don't get Titaned. Even if we do get Titaned, we might survive it. They would get a bunch of Valakut triggers on our board is the issue. Oh my god, we got a game. Okay. I have hope. I think I'm just going to run it back. I kind of want the Shadow Spear, but I don't think I have that much room, and it kind of worked out without it anyway. So let's just run it back. We need as much disruption as possible, and then also to have a fast clock on top of that somehow. This hand does not do either of those things, so let's mulligan. This hand has the disruption and no lands, so let's mulligan. Okay. Keep, get rid of you. I guess I get rid of Frogmite here, because I kind of want the Thought Monitor to refuel, perhaps, and then hopefully Metallic Rebuke can hit something important. Watch our opponent kill us on turn 2 before we ever Rebuke up anyway. Mistfault Bridge go. Springleaf Drum helps with getting Thought Monitor down in the future, so that's something at least. Hopefully they go for it on turn 3 with, like... Explore, okay. Hopefully they go for it on turn 3 with a Pact and we just get to steal a game that way. That'd be cool. They might have enough mana to pay for the Pact the next turn, though, already, so that would kind of suck for us. They play Explore again. It looks like they will have that much mana. 5 cards in our opponent's hand. Tolaria West, okay. We draw Treasure Vault. We're definitely signaling that we have a Metallic Rebuke by doing this, but I think I have to hold it up just to have a shot at this point with how much they've already ramped. No Force of Vigor, please. Yes. Alright, that's a good start at least. Opponent has 5 cards in hand and a bunch of mana. The Tolaria West does give me hope that they're going to go for a Pact this game, so I might be able to get them. Boros Garrison, okay. Do they pick up Tolaria West? They're not floating mana. They didn't float the mana for the Tolaria West, that was weird. EE on 0, that's fine. That was sort of weird. They could have tutored that turn and they chose not to. Let's play Treasure Vault. I play Cranial Plating, I have 6. I play Thought Monitor. I have Thought Monitor, Cranial Plating untapped for Metallic Rebuke. And I actually have a decent clock doing that too. We're not actually signaling that we have Metallic Rebuke this turn because the reason that we didn't equip Ornithopter and attack in is because of Engineered Explosives, so it looks like we were playing around that. I'm not going to run out the other Ornithopter for obvious reasons. Haywire Mite gives me hope as well, since I can get rid of an Amulet that way. Mycosynth Gardens, that's annoying. That's double Amulet. Okay. Do they go for it this turn? They do not because they don't have another land drop, it looks like. Okay. Sojourner's Companion is a nice draw. Let's equip up Monitor. Opponent's at 20. Play out Haywire Mite. Play out Sojourner's Companion. go to combat. I want to get the combat damage in first, and then use Haywire Mite to get rid of one of the amulets. Because one amulet we can win through, double amulet, and you're usually fucked. They don't have a Beseiju or any removal, it looks like. Let's get rid of the one that's not a token, just in case it winds up mattering. Gain a little bit of life. Still holding up Rebuke. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. Can we get this game? We're frighteningly close to being able to get this game. They spend 2 mana to kill 1 Ornithopter. I love that. Please do that more. I don't think they're going to have lethal on us. Unless they found a Beseiju to get rid of Cranial Plating, I think we might be able to kill them. Because they don't have the double blue mana for Talaria West since they didn't do that the other turn. They play Summoner's Pact. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've already played a land for turn. Cultivator Colossus. Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! No Force of Vigors, no Force of Vigors, no Force of Vigors. We did it! Oh my god! Alright, Affinity Discord, you can actually win this matchup. Alright, we're 4-1. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, final round. We won the die roll, so we'll take the play. We have a very slow hand with an Urza's Saga, but it is on the play with an Urza's Saga, which is usually really good. This hand is definitely suboptimal. I'll be lazy and keep it. I don't necessarily endorse this play, but when you're on the play, you can rely a bit more heavily on just having an Urza's Saga and some activations, where otherwise I would say that's usually inadvisable. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Bloodstained Mire, okay. Looks like we might be playing against Scam. Ragavan, okie dokie. We draw Thought Monitor. Let's just pass. I could play out Frogmite to try to block, but usually I feel like the games that I lose the most often against Scam are the ones where I give them a reason to do the Fury Scam thing on turn 1 or turn 2, because then I wind up losing to the clock. Where I can take a Ragavan hit, and it's not really the end of the world. It's definitely good for them, but like I don't care about them having this Ornithopter really. Or at least I hope I won't care. And at least they don't have effectively an 8/8 because they have a 4/4 with double strike. Opponent plays Goblin Bombardment. Alright, this is a weird deck. We're playing against Rakdos Sac, I assume? There's probably a Mayhem Devil coming soon. Haywire Mite's a nice draw that gets rid of the bombardment. I'm absolutely going to be making a construct instead, though. 3, 4... Oh, wait. Well, do I think they have the scam stuff or not, is the issue. I could run out Ornithopter, then I can block Ragavan, and my construct doesn't just die to them sacking anything to Goblin Bombardment to deal 1 damage to it. Let's run out the Ornithopter. Alright, what you got, opponent? I'm curious to see what all this deck has. It could just be a regular Scam deck that has Bombardment, like, shoved into it. That might be the worst case scenario for us, because then that's... Okay, they have Mayhem Devil. Makes sense. Malakir Mire. Okay, so they do have Scam stuff. We were right about that much. It's probably just less of a focus than normal. If they attack with Ragavan, I will trade a construct for that and some sack triggers. I think that would be worth it. Because I can't let them just get treasures all willy-nilly now, since they can deal 2 damage each, or 1 damage each, I mean, off of Mayhem Devil. Do you want to trade Ornithopter for the construct? Yep, makes sense. Now, the real issue is what I do here, because I can make another construct. I think that has to be the right play, right? But I have to choose between doing that and getting rid of Goblin Bombardment with Haywire Mite. Because they have Scam stuff, getting Relic might be a good pick. But if I get Relic, I have to play Darksteel Citadel to hold it up. And then I'm not playing Thought Monitor for a little bit. Although I don't really need to play the Thought Monitor out until I already get rid of Goblin Bombardment anyway. So here's what I do. Make a construct. Search my deck. Do I want Relic or do I want Shadow Spear? I'm going to get the Shadow Spear. And I'm going to play a tapped land. Opponent can ping me. That's fine. Pass. Next turn I can play Thought Monitor after playing Haywire Mite and getting rid of Bombardment. And if they get rid of the Construct token somehow, I can play Nettle Cyst and still have a relatively decent clock with a Shadow Spear attached to it. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. Let's see what they do. I will absolutely trade a Construct for Mayhem Devil. I'm way too afraid of Mayhem Devils to be doing anything else. Okay, they feign death. That's fine. I assume they sack here for direct damage? Oh, they sack for Village Rites. Okay, makes sense. They deal 1 damage to Ornithopter, so they must have another thing to sacrifice then. Maybe they have a fetch land? If they tap out, I'll just slap them with a Construct and be satisfied. Slap them with the Construct, get rid of Bombardment still with Haywire Mite. Makes sense. Unfortunately, they get a trigger with the Haywire Mite. They have a Fury. Okay. So they're going to Fury away the Construct by sacking it to Bombardment, or are they going to scam the Fury? They don't have a scam. That's good at least. They kill Ornithopter. They kill the Construct. That's fine. We draw Cranial Plating. Interesting. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. Let's go Darksteel Citadel, Haywire Mite, get rid of you. Opponent gets a ping. We're going to gain 2 life though, so it's not a big deal, and we don't have any creatures for them to remove. Okay. Play Frogmite, play Thought Monitor, draw some cards. 2 tapped lands, not super exciting. Pass the turn. They could Fury away both these creatures, that'd be a little annoying, but I still have Nettle Cyst at least. If they attack in, I'm just not going to block. They play another Mayhem Devil, tapping out, okay. I really want to draw an untapped land. I don't know why they didn't attack in there, that was kind of bizarre. Alright, we draw Springleaf Drum. Let's play Mistvault Bridge. Do I want to run out the Nettle Cyst to block with, or do I want to get damage in? I think Nettle Cyst is a better play here, because ultimately it isn't lethal damage anyway, so I might as well just wait and not have them know about the Cranial Plating yet. We'll deal 2 to them though, since I'm not blocking with the Thought Monitor, and it softens up their life total a little bit for us. And it should be very hard for them to remove this Germ token if their main source of removal is damage with Fury and Pinging. So I'm hoping that they just can't get rid of the Phyrexian Germ. Alright, cool. What do I sideboard in against this deck? Soulless Jailer seems like it could be good, but the issue against scam decks with Soulless Jailer is that they can just stack the Fury trigger to where the 4 damage resolves before the Evoke does, and then it doesn't really matter. Let's bring in Needle. Let's bring in Grafdigger's Cage, and I think I might bring in both the Haywire Mites. I'm not certain, though. Opponent is playing Ragavan, but Mimknight seems very bad. As normal, I take out Gingerbread against Fury decks. Shadow Spear's good. Relic seems fine. I might go down a Relic, though, for the Haywire Mites, just because I think it's very important to get rid of Goblin Bombardment, if I can say it. Let's cut 2 Mimknights and bring in 2 Haywire Mite. It potentially slows our deck down a little bit, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. This hand seems fine. It's not particularly special. We have a Clock and a Thought Monitor, though, and we can deploy both of them relatively quickly, I think. I could go turn 1 Darksteel Citadel, Springleaf Drum, turn 2 Darksteel Citadel, Ornithopter, Cranial Plating. I don't have quite enough mana for Thought Monitor at that point. I'm 1 short. We'll see what we draw. Opponent plays Bloodstained Mire and cracks it. Tapped Blood Crypt. No Ragavans. Alright, we drew Frogmite, so that means we can go Cranial Plating Monitor on turn 2 without having to worry about it. Hopefully that doesn't play into a Fury on our opponent's side. Bombardment, okay. But I think we just have to go for it at this point. Plating, Ornithopter, Froggy, Thought Monitor. Do I just play everything out? If I play out just another Frogmite, everything dies to a Fury Scam. So I think I just wait. Leave the other cards in my hand. Opponent plays Blood Crypt. Okie dokie. Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright, so that's 3 Goblin Bombardment activations that they can do. So they can't quite kill both Thought Monitor and Ornithopter, but they can get close. So that means I put Cranial Plating on Ornithopter, attack with both of those. I drew a Thoughtcast, that's kind of nice. They got rid of a Fury, which is kind of weird. They have a Bloodghast in their graveyard that I have to think about. Let's draw 2. We do not find a Saga, unfortunately. I think at this point I'm committed enough that I just need to play everything out. Attack with the team. Hopefully they just don't have it. I don't know why they would have not Furied last turn if they had Fury Scam, so I assume they didn't have a Malakir Rebirth. And I'm hoping they got rid of their only Fury. That'd be pretty cool. I really need to top deck more Draw 2s or Urza Sagas, though, if they get rid of my board. What you got, opponent? Are you going to block? Are you going to kill stuff? I assume they're going to kill the Ornithopter, right? They block Froggy. They shoot Thought Monitor instead of Ornithopter. Okay. Opponent goes down to 7. Alright, so they have to have something big, or removal for Cranial Plating at least. 3 mana. What? Alright. That kills everything but Frogmites. They have a Fury. That's obnoxious. So our board has been wiped. Alright, I can't say that I was playing around Path of Peril. I kind of forgot that this card exists. So I'll forgive myself on that one. The issue now is that our opponent has recurring removal with Goblin Bombardment and Bloodghasts and fetches. So we have to find something with a large toughness to be able to kill them. I think I might bring Relic back in because of the Bloodghast. I forgot that Bombardment decks usually play those. So that seems reasonable. But our opponent has a very low life total. And their clock on us is not that fast, so we might be able to draw out of this. Cracks Marsh Flats, okay. What do you have, opponent? Grief, okay. They have one card in hand. They have a reasonable clock on us now. Let's play Darksteel Citadel since they know about it. I'm not going to run out the Welding Jar in case they have either Kolaghan's Command or like a Kroxa that might deal us some extra damage. But I think we might just be dead now. We have one draw to find something big enough to change the tides for us, and that doesn't just die to a couple of pings. We're at 7. Mayhem Devil, and we're dead here. Okay. Opponent has 8 damage on board with Bombardment, Mayhem Devil. Okay. What do I want to change, if anything? Relic seems nice. I think I cut one... Well, Bombardment seems really good for them, so I don't really want to cut any Haywire Mites if I have the option. Maybe I just run it back. I like Patchies here because of how they grow and how hard it is to kill them with individual pings. We just haven't been lucky enough to draw them yet. And I like Welding Jar. Do I like Welding Jar? It gets through the Wrath, I guess. Yeah, it seems fine. It gets through the Wrath that they played. I think there's sort of an argument for playing Metallic Rebukes here because most of their stuff costs 3, it seems like. So I think you'd have a lot of decent opportunities to Metallic Rebuke and get a lot of tempo out of it. Alright, this hand could be very good. If we draw an untapped land, we get to make a construct on turn 2 and start doing the shenanigans. Welding Jar means that Memnite is protected. If they go Fury, Scam, they can still kill the Memnite though, and that's annoying. If they don't do that and we don't draw a land, we can cycle Sojourner's Companion to get a land and make a construct on turn 3, and then refuel with Thoughtcast. I think I have to keep this. It has a bit too much potential. If I leave the Memnite in my hand, I'm in a bad spot if they have the Grief Scam thing, but that's less frightening than the Fury Scam thing, and I think they're more likely to keep a hand with the Fury Scam. So I think I keep the Memnite in my hand. It's a bit more likely that they have removal for it. Let's see, though. Hopefully they just play Ragavan here. Fuck! Alright, they had the Grief. Well, now I'm just depressed, because that might have stolen the 5-0 from us, unfortunately. Hopefully we still draw land here. Maliki Rebirth, okay. Yeah. They always have the one that you're not playing around. They take Thoughtcast instead of Sojourner's Companion. Okay. That is actually kind of nice for us. We draw Thought Monitor. That's not great. Let's play you. Pass. Alright, we don't get any constructs. I might be able to play Thought Monitor, but we'll see what happens. I'd have to float a mana and find a creature with Urza's Saga to get the blue mana at this point, which is less than sexy. Opponent didn't play anything on turn 2. We found another Thought Monitor. Let's float a mana. I guess we just get a Haywire Mite, so we can hold up that activation. Let's land cycle Sojourner's Companion, get a Tanglepool Bridge. If our opponent continues to not really do anything, and just sort of lets us deploy both of these Thought Monitors, then we're in a good spot. We're still very choked on mana, though, and it could be pretty easy for them to remove this Haywire Mite. At least we have the Welding Jar helping us. But again, that's not super impactful if they just have the Fury Scam thing. Alright, we take 3 again. They terminate, meaning that we can't Welding Jar to save it. We gain 2 life. Okay. Alright, come on, Darksteel Citadel. Darksteel Citadel, I think, is the best possible draw. There we go. That lets us play the Thought Monitors. We draw Shadow Spear. Because we know they play Fury, I think I'm just going to wait and not run out the other Thought Monitor. Because if they have removal, I want to be able to pick it up with Aether Spellbomb and draw 2 more cards. Opponent fetches, untaps. Shadow Spear could help us. Seasoned Pyromancer, okay. Discarding lands. Opponent's flooding out, it looks like. Or at least they were until they played that Seasoned Pyromancer. We can't block. Okay. We draw Springleaf Drum. Let's play Monitor. Goddamn. Grafdigger's Cage could help a lot. That's a great draw. Let's play Cage. Attack for 2. Pass. Still holding up Aether Spellbomb in case they have removal for the Thought Monitors. That forces them to either use more removal or let us draw some more cards. And if they use a second piece of removal to get rid of it, I will just Welding Jar the thing because it continues to be the same. Regeneration lets you continue to have the same... God, what's it called? Shit. If you regenerate something, it's still the same object, where if it leaves play and comes back, it's a different object in the game. Do I just Welding Jar first? I don't think the order matters, really. Actually, the order does matter because I need to make blue mana for this. So let's pick up Thought Monitor. It works. Hopefully they don't grief it. They Village Rites. Okay. So they turn their Fury back into cards, but at least they weren't able to get the Fury in play because of Grafdigger's Cage, so that's something. Opponent hits us for 5. They have 3 cards in hand. We need this Shadow Spear to help us fix the clock. Alright, come on, good draws off this Thought Monitor. I'd love to draw like a Nettle Cyst. Cranial Plating will do. Alright, what can we do here? I think we can play everything in our hand, basically. And I do want to get things out of my hand in case of grief shenanigans. Alright, let's pass. Yeah, I want to leave up the blockers instead of equipping Cranial Plating here since I have plenty of mana for next turn. If our opponent doesn't have anything, which is technically possible, but it's also sort of unlikely since they haven't been playing land drops, we might be able to get there. If they had a land drop last turn, I think they would have played it since we played out Grafdigger's Cage, so they would have a chance of casting a 5-drop this turn. So I think they must have rummaged away the lands that they had in their hand with Seasoned Pyromancer and not drawn any more after that. We're not dead to a Goblin Bombardment by itself, so that's good. Opponent plays a Seasoned Pyromancer. That gives me hope. If they're tapped out, I think I might be able to kill them with this Thought Monitor. Come on, 5-0. Come on, 5-0. This would be a crazy game 2 of 1 to get a 5-0 if that's the case. They had Path of Peril in their hand. We played around that shit. They had Magus of the Moon in their hand too. We also played around that by just not drawing any more Urza Sagas. God, I love Thought Monitor so much. You can be in such a losing position and just chain a couple together and things turn around. Such a fun card. This is like... Thought Monitor, in my opinion, is a perfect example of a fixed Treasure Cruise. Because think about it. It's the same cost. Is it the same cost? Treasure Cruise isn't an 8-drop, right? Am I being stupid? Either way, it's Affinity instead of Delve, so it goes into a specific deck instead of just fitting into anything. Let's block Spyro here just to be safe. I don't want to lose to like a land and a bolt. Fury, okay. 1 card in my opponent's hand, so they're not going to be able to go free spell or anything else after that, and I think I just win. Because this Thought Monitor should be lethal. Die. Yay! Alright, we got it. Let's open up some chests. We got 11 of them. I gotta make sure I only open up 11 since I'm saving the other ones right now. Misty, I already have a bunch of those. That's 1. But yeah, Thought Monitor I think is the perfect example of Day of Judgment, of a fixed Treasure Cruise, because it's a 3-for-1, but it doesn't fit in any kind of deck that just plays like fetch lands or whatever, like was happening with Burn when that was in Modern. And it still gives you cards, but it guarantees that one of them is a creature and then continues your affinity count. So it chains perfectly into the 7-drop affinity creatures. 4. That one was whatever. 5. Pull from Tomorrow. And some play points. 6. Seasoned Pyromancer, hell yeah. The Eye of the Tiger art too. Very cool. I don't have any Spyros yet, so that's a good one to pick up. 8. Is that 8? How many did I have? God damn it. Let's just keep opening them for a little bit. I think I had 1 of 3 before that. Gyre Sage. Okay, more play points. That's fine. Looks like Seasoned Pyromancer is the best pool that we had. Nissa. Nissa Vastwood Seer. That was the first mythic I think I ever pulled when I started playing Magic, because I started playing and actually actively buying packs right when Magic Origins came out. And let's open up 1 more just to make sure that I got 11 of them. Play points, Mere Superion, Emperor Crocodile. Not the best cards. But yeah, this deck's super fun. Of course, there's a lot of different ways that you can customize it to either your own meta or just your own tastes. Having an extra Haywire Mite is fine, especially if you're cutting like a relic for it. I think I've seen a decent amount of people doing that. Changing around the mana base is fine too. I don't like changing it too much just because the extra artifact lands really help enable everything. I know some people like playing either an extra basic, maybe an Otawara, maybe like Glimmer Void or Spire of Industry, something like that. I don't think it's really necessary compared to just having things cost less mana. And of course also changing the sideboard around can be fine, but I think this one's pretty solid. We didn't get to see Soulless Jailer do much this time around, but I really, really like it against the Cascade decks, so it's definitely worth playing in my opinion. And I really love putting like Cranial Platings on it to attack in. Haywire Mite, I think, is absolutely an all-star. I love that card. It's been great in the main deck, it's been great in sideboard games. And I'll see you again soon.
Hey everyone, Shoe Nice again. Well, basically, go subscribe to Tezzey's YouTube channel. And for those who made it to the end of the video, thank you.